The gladiators were not white. They were black, Middle Eastern, and enslaved Europeans. White supremacists loved to imagine gladiators as pure, noble, white warriors fighting for glory in the Colosseum. Hollywood has backed up this myth with movies like Gladiator, always starring some rugged, blue-eyed European man fighting for freedom. The reality? Gladiators were a multi-ethnic mix of enslaved Africans, Middle Easterners, Celts, Germans, and others, most of whom were forced to fight for the entertainment of the Roman elite. The first gladiators were not white. They were enslaved prisoners of war and foreigners. Gladiator fights originated from the Etruscan funeral rituals. They weren't even originally Roman. The first gladiators were enslaved people from conquered nations, including North Africans, Gauls, Thracians, and Middle Easterners. Rome's entire economy was built on enslaving and exploiting foreign people, meaning the average gladiator was not some noble Roman citizen, but an outsider. Black gladiators were common and highly valued. North African and Ethiopian gladiators were famous across the Roman Empire. Ancient Roman art even depicts them. Rome had extensive trade and slavery networks with Africa, meaning that African gladiators were regularly imported. The word Ethiops, meaning Ethiopians, appears in gladiator inscriptions, proving the black gladiators fought in the arena. The Moors, black North Africans, were also common in gladiatorial combat. If Rome was so white, why did they keep depicting black warriors in their artwork? Middle Eastern gladiators were among the most skilled fighters. Rome recruited soldiers and enslaved fighters from the Middle East, including Parthians and Syrians. Gladiators from Levant, modern-day Syria, Lebanon, and Israel, were known for their agility and their skills with curved swords. The Roman army was full of Arabs and Persians, so it makes sense that the gladiatorial schools included Middle Eastern fighters. Most gladiators were not freemen. They were slaves forced to fight. Despite Hollywood's bullshit noble warrior fantasy, the truth is most gladiators were enslaved men who had no choice. They were prisoners of war, criminals, and debt slaves who were bought and trained under brutal conditions. Gladiator schools operated like slave labor camps where men were beaten, starved, and forced to fight to survive. White supremacists love to fantasize about gladiators, but forget that they were the lowest class in Rome. The most famous gladiator, Spartacus, was an enslaved Thracian, not a white hero. Women were also gladiators, and they weren't white either. Emperor Domitian once hosted a fight between Ethiopian woman warriors. Gladiators were not noble Roman warriors. They were enslaved foreigners, mostly Africans, Middle Easterners, and Celts. The arena was filled with black and brown people, not just white guys. Hollywood erased the truth because white supremacists can't handle that Rome wasn't a white empire. If gladiators were so white, why does history prove otherwise? Cope.